Venezuela announcing it will now resume accepting deportation flights from the United States at President Trump's demand. This as the Pentagon continues to defend its strikes on alleged narco-terrorists at sea. Lucas Tomlinson is reporting. He's live here in Washington. Welcome back from Trinidad, Lucas. What's going on down south?
Thanks,
today?
John. President Trump says he didn't know anything about that secondary strike on the alleged drug boat at the center of scrutiny right now in Washington. Trump gave his support to the mission and his War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, who said he didn't stick around after the initial strike because he had a meeting to attend.
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war.
The strike in question, September 2nd off the coast of Trinidad, the first of more than 20 over the past 3 months on alleged narco-terrorists.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem. You know, we stopped every boat we knock out. We save 25,000 American lives.
That's right. So,
And
thank you.
if you look at our numbers, the drugs coming in through sea are down 91%. I'm surprised there's 9%. You want to? I don't know who's doing the 9%, but it's down 91, and we're going to start very soon on land, and I'm sure you're thrilled to hear that.
But I agree that we need to know more details. But if the claim is correct, and it's a big if, as you're suggesting too, 2 survivors hanging off the side of a burning boat and they get hit again, that doesn't seem to me taking out someone who represents an existential threat.
Yeah, look, I've been in the room with the President of the United States during a strike, right? I can't go into obvious specific details, but I'm just telling you the way the Washington Post portrayed this is not an actual representation of how a strike would go down in terms of the role of the secretary. And so I immediately question the accuracy of the reporting. The second question that you asked is really what needs to get further investigated. What caused a second strike? What was the intent of that second strike? What was the target of that second strike, and why was it ordered? But there's a big range in there that stem from a problematic answer that is, well, they were taking out survivors of the first strike, to there was collateral issues that needed to be addressed in a second strike, and they were just further damaged. Those are very, very different scenarios that have a big different impact on how we view this situation. So I like I said, just the mere initial reporting from the Washington Post gave me pause.
I think you're correct to raise a red flag there. I mean, is the Secretary of War really standing by the shoulder of the person pushing the buttons, saying, no, go again? I doubt that too. Donald Trump seems to be threatening war on Venezuela. He's got a naval force off its coast. He's told airlines to consider the airspace over Venezuela closed. He's reportedly told Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro in a phone call to flee with his family. What is going on and why?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of questions there, right? Why? I mean, first of all, I look back at what Donald Trump has done specifically in Iran, right? Everybody had this view about what you could and could not do. And I think the way the president approached striking those Iran nuclear capabilities was something that wasn't one extreme or the other, as everybody had predicted. Donald Trump found a third way, a way to achieve America's national interest without dragging us into something. So the question I ask now is this part of a broader strategy? Make Maduro understand that the U.S. is willing to take action if he doesn't flee, right? That he is a bad, bad guy. He is allowing drugs to flow freely into the United States and a lot of other places. And so if Donald Trump can find a way to triangulate a new strategy that rids the Venezuelan people of a bad, bad person and helps us stop the flow of illegal drugs into our country, then that's a good thing. So if Maduro believes that there's a possibility that he or his family could be attacked or that there could be regime change, and that causes him to take action, I'm all for it.
Is it just about the drugs? Well, when I say just, I think you know what I mean. The drugs flowing into America, or is there some wider geopolitical strategy at play here?
That's actually a great question. I think the drugs are obviously a big problem, a big threat to the United States. But to your point, there's definitely a China and Russia influence in Venezuela, a struggle, if you will, to see who gets to dominate that area and a foothold for those countries in sort of our southern region. So I do think there is a much bigger geopolitical issue at stake, as you raise, because of concerns of the influence of China and Russia. And so if we can be very clear that we will protect our interests, both in terms of the flow of drugs and our geopolitical interests, that's obviously a big win for the United States.